Yo, today I'm going to show you how I made this thing here. Let me just bypass all the effects first. So basically what this is just this patch right here, kind of multiplied over 4 different times, each of which have slight differences to them. But the initial one, first of all of them have this effects chain on it, which is just full tube distortion and a little bit of multiband compression, with this envelope on the gain, which this envelope is also used elsewhere. For example, the level of this oscillator here, along with this wavetable, and this is being FM'd from a saw wave at about 20%. And the primary oscillator is -3 octaves. This is playing at C5. That's what it sounds like by itself. So what I wanted to do was just add a ton of layers to it with different wavetables. This is, by the way, using a free wavetable pack by Echo Soundworks, these core tables, which has a ton of stuff. I'm using this first one here under the spectral folder. I'm effectively doing the same thing on this bottom one over here, except I'm FMing it from a sine wave. That's now also a -3, and the FM is way higher, and the wavetable's position is slightly different. And then these other two are using wavetables you can only find in a Donation AU5 download, so you're going to have to pay money for that. I will include this patch as a download link in the description of the video that I make, so I guess you can get it for free there. Either way, once again, this is the exact same patch as before, except I'm just replacing the wavetable and moving the wavetable position around a little bit. If I unmute that real quick. So altogether, those 3 sound like this, which is getting the beef that I wanted it to have. And then beyond that, I have an extra layer on top of it, which is now just adding some extra high-end type textural stuff. I think you get the idea. Altogether, those sound like this. Then I have that going through this effects chain here, which if I start off, first of all, there's a vocoder. The primary use for this vocoder is to formant shift it down quite a bit. So I have this formant shifted down like 6.5 semitones. And then all the other settings are primarily just to preserve the character of the sound as best as I could. That formant shifter makes it quite a bit deeper, which is the sound I was going for. Then from there, I have it connected through 3 OTTs, each of which have the time all the way up and then the depth to 50%. And then it's going through this fat rack, which is using like every distortion plugin I have. All of these are free, by the way. If you don't have those and don't want to download them, then you can really just replace them with whatever distortion plugins you have. I have these all between like 5 and 50%. Most of them are really low on the distortion, making it sound like this. From there, this part doesn't really change much, but I'm splitting the sub away from everything else and adding an EQ on the top of that because I typically use a separate sub in my track. So if I ever use this, I can just turn that off. And then from there, I have a hyperdimension to make it stereo wide and a mid-side EQ to take all the stereo out of the low end. Beyond that, if you hadn't noticed, I have all of these set up coming from a macro in each one of the patches. So I could have the ability to turn it from a staccato type deal and make it sustain. Beyond that, here's the actual case that I used it in. The main patch is just all these effects going over the top inside of this patcher, and then I have it running through both a resonator and a vocoder with some chords, so it sounds like this. So that's all for now. Once again, download link in the description. Join the Discord. Peace.